Oh, we've discussed Packers, Broncos, Rams, Lions. Now it's time for Patriots and Bills. This is going to be at Foxborough, and this game has been highlighted on my mind for quite a long time, since really that first game against the Bills that this Patriots team had that really kind of sparked this season they had. Now that they're 11-2, and a lot of that vibe came from that game. Prime time and all that stuff, and it's also been Mike Vrabel as the head coach proving, once again, he can make the best out of any situation, especially when it comes to culture. And this team plays cohesively, they play hard, and they know what they have in Drake May on the offensive side. Um, and they've been one of the league's best offenses since, they've taken off this year and since that Bills game. But the Bills, it was looking pretty rocky early on, but I just feel like things are starting to look a little more like what I expected this season. And maybe not that they're Super Bowl contenders, but I think, yeah, the defense is a flaw with the run game. It is. But if they can force a couple turnovers, that helps mitigate that a little bit. And, um, you know, even though it might be something that kills them in the end, I don't think that means they should be, uh, you know, underdogs in this game, and they're not. They're actually favored to win this 1.5 points. There is a 49.5 point over under. And like I said, this will be in Foxborough, outside, cold. It could potentially snow. But we saw this Bills team in snow last week look just fine on offense. So I've kind of described who these teams have been so far. The Patriots, their schedule is something I've kind of, poked fun at just because, outside of that Bills game when they weren't playing their best ball and that Bucks win that they had where that Bucks team wasn't playing their best ball, this Patriots team really hasn't beaten anyone. They had a pretty easy stretch in the middle of the season. Um, Credit to them for winning all those games and Drake May developing the way he has, but it's just something that's just wait and see. I'm not saying I don't believe in the Patriots hype at all. Like, I understand where people are coming from, but I just hold my horses until I get confirmation on these sorts of things because we're wrong as, an NFL fandom all the time about this kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I don't
100%.
I don't expect it to be the case with Drake May or this Patriots team long term, but this season, like, we'll see. We did have a Commanders team last year do something like this and make it further than this. But anyway, that's all long term. Let's talk about this game. So the Bills, they've now won 2 straight games. Like I said, just starting to look a little better. The offense was electric last week. Josh Allen looks like he's dialed in, and the run game too. James Cook, almost 100 yards, even on top of Allen's like 50-point fantasy performance. So they're kind of building some momentum. The Patriots, like I said, it's just been kind of like the Broncos, consistent wins. Just continuing to do what they've done. And a lot of that has given them, good third down and efficiency percentages. I would question, how much that compares to a team like the Packers being good on third down when they're playing the NFC North and all that. And the Patriots defense has been also very cohesive and consistent. I'm almost more impressed by that than Drake May. Just Mike Vrabel, such a great coach. The Bills, Josh Allen's an X factor. Explosive plays are huge for them because of that. Defense, let's not talk about that.
I low-key think Mike Vrabel does not get the credit that this man be deserving, bro. He literally be covering all phases that you need to have as like a head coach, from the offense to the defense to the physical to the mental to the
Yeah,
like style of communication to your interactions with your players. Like, well, the thing that gets me about it though is that what's his face? Sirianni will celebrate with his players, and he's some cocky a hole that needs to get sent to the another realm. But then Mike Vrabel hits him with the this celebration with Stephon Diggs, and everybody's like, "Oh, this guy is such a great coach!" Like,
yeah,
go home, bro.
yeah.
Also, update: Kyle Pitts just scored a 10-yard touchdown, uh, running a slant route across the Bucks defense, completely wide open. Was able to walk into the end
Of
zone,
course, the
no problem.
Bucks. The Bucks are just, they can't beat the Falcons, and they're in bad shape right now with the Panthers. But yeah, as far as this game, yeah, I do think home field should help the Patriots a little bit, but honestly, it's not that different from what the Bills are used to, and they got fans up in the area, so they'll have some level of a presence. Christian Benford is questionable for the Bills. and then just a couple other guys, but it's nothing major. And then I really think this is going to come down once again to Drake May and Josh Allen making those plays on third down. Drake May continuing to prove that the efficiency is no joke, and then Josh Allen doing what he did last week, putting the team on his back, and then controlling the game at the end if they have the lead. Not giving this Patriots team another chance. And oh yeah, something I wanted to say about Vrabel right before I give my prediction. Yeah, it does feel like Titans of those surprisingly good Titans teams with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, they have a much better quarterback, which really makes you think. It might be legit even if we haven't seen it. That's why I still have them, in my top four. But yeah, great coach.
Does Derrick Henry and AJ Brown want to go back to the Patriots with Mike Vrabel?
I'd love to see it. I don't know about Henry, but yeah. I think they win the moment, and that makes it tough to pick against them. But I am going to pick the Bills to come away with it this time, 27-26. So the over/under is 55.5. I have it going a little bit under that. I think both teams are going to try to run the ball once again. Last time the score was 23-20. I would take the spread of probably whoever is favored. Of whoever's not favored, whoever the underdog is, if it's like even a point and a half, I'd probably just take the points in this one. It's still a really close call, but I just have a gut feeling the Bills are going to, they're going to try to re-cement themselves with a win here and redeem themselves from their early season struggles. Dan, what are your thoughts on this Bills-Patriots matchup, and what's your score prediction?
I genuinely think the Bills are going to come into this game thinking like playing desperate football. Like they're going to play, which like you said beforehand, the offense was electric, but it was electric against a Bengals offense, and I cannot remember who they played the week beforehand. But um, to my point in saying that, it's this Patriots defense is coming what off of a bye, and they're coming in hot. They're coming in rested,
Yeah.
relaxed, and I don't think that even though they were rested and relaxed, that they're coming into this playing rested and relaxed. They're playing. This is a chance that we could sweep the Bills, and the Bills are kind of playing like we're gonna do what Josh Allen loves to do, and he's like rack up 40 on them. But I feel like when, for example, they went into the Dolphin Stadium playing with that kind of mindset, because I saw how confident they were going into that game when I was watching it, and they were just playing really bad technical football. And I guess that's what my fear is going into this game is that Josh Allen's gonna play with that kind of feeling, especially coming off of the win that he just had against the Bengals in the snow. That now he's like, I'm back to Josh Allen, goes to Foxborough, and it might not be looking the same. Which is like I wouldn't blame him because hey, like it's hard to reciprocate that kind of stuff back to back in weeks. Um, so I'm gonna still go say the Patriots sweep the Bills this year,
Okay.
and that they're gonna come up, and it's gonna be 24-21 actually.
24-21. Okay, so very, very close score to the last one. Um, I want to bring up some other stats I failed to mention, if you don't mind. So, I was curious about Drake May because of, all the discussions we have about him. And I was thinking about the Broncos too because, I still have the Broncos ahead. And I was like, well, I just feel like this Patriots team, the schedule, and I just couldn't quite articulate, what it was about it that really rubbed me the wrong way, that made me not buy it, and that what made me not as concerned about the way the Broncos, wins have been questioned. I was thinking about fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives, something I've mentioned in the past to critique Jalen Hurts, and other quarterbacks and other teams. When people put these labels on them and try to, put them in a category of elite, I say, well, you got to do this. You got to have these fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives. They test your team. They galvanize them, especially when it goes right. The Broncos, and Bo Nix in particular, he has on his career 9 game-winning drives. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good start, and he's got 8 fourth quarter comebacks. So a lot of those fourth quarter comebacks are game-winning drives. Well, obviously, vice versa. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I remember thinking about the Broncos last year. You know, those comeback wins, and this season, obviously, 7 of them, or excuse me, 5 of them. And I was like, well, how many does Drake May and the Patriots have? Drake May has 1 game-winning drive. He has no fourth quarter comebacks. So the games they've trailed, they've lost. And the game-winning drive was against this Bills team. So, yeah, it's definitely something that I was like, okay, that checks out, because there's just something to me that's like when a team or a quarterback has one of those fourth quarter comebacks or game-winning drives, that sticks. You know, that sticks in your head. And I think it's for good reason, because that's what we see in Super Bowls, playoff games, that gets you there. That's what I haven't seen from this Patriots team to make me so confident that I'm going to pick them to sweep. But like I did say, I do think this will still be a very close kind of coin flip game. I'm not asking you to repick. What's just your general idea about that kind of Broncos Patriots kind of, you know, comparison of how they've won in the fourth quarter comebacks and game winning drives that this Patriots team doesn't have?
I guess for me, right, like the defense, like for like you, like your point always was the Patriots never played real competition, so that they could really test how good they actually are. But then, like, they played the Bills and they were able to come out with that,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't need to have that kind of comeback against them. So it's like, while I feel as if for the Broncos, you could say, hey, maybe the Broncos offense is not capable of producing like Drake May and the Patriots. That's why their defense has to try to keep fighting and fighting and fighting, but hey, it might not work. So then the Broncos have to always come back, while Drake May just never puts his defense in a bad position.
Yeah, and the stats reflect that in a sort of way, because, like I mentioned, fourth quarter points in the fourth quarter, New England is tied for second to last at 4.7, and I don't believe that's because they can't do it. I think it's because they haven't had to, like you said, they've managed to
Hmm.
stay ahead. Well, yeah, and like, you know, my point has always been, it's like it's wait and see, because I think they
When
can.
someone's gonna catch you at some point, and what's
So
gonna happen?
someone's gonna catch you down in the fourth quarter, losing. So he didn't have he wasn't losing in the fourth quarter to the Bills. You know, it was a tie game. That's why it's just a game-winning drive. But when you only score 4.7 points in the fourth quarter, and you haven't been you know, losing and being forced to score, I don't think that's good heading into the playoffs. So as for this game in particular, I don't think it affects it as much, but just as the overall projection and forecast for, you know, how they're going to do in the playoffs, I don't like that you were not asked to score points in the fourth quarter. It's not that I don't think they can, it's that I'm convinced that I still don't know. So that's just kind of my, you know, sort of tangent. Sorry for dragging us in a, you know, different direction, but I thought that was definitely worth
I
mentioning.
know you like to really get into the Patriots and what's going on right now. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie to you. Like,
yeah, I do. But yeah, I guess that's enough of that. And we are 35 minutes in, which is pretty good timing, and we got time for the rest of the show to talk about all the rest of the games. Unless if you have any sort of tangent you wanted to go on before we do that.
oh, I'm good.
All right, awesome. So let's get into it. Starting off with Browns at Bears.